Hello and welcome to the daily coaching lockdown football training session. So today is session number 3 and today we're looking at 4 key parts of the session. We'll be starting off with a warm up, then we'll be moving into some ball mastery, then looking at some keeper reactions specific obviously for goalkeepers, then finally finishing off with an accuracy session which is perfect to enhance your passing and your shooting techniques as well, okay? So for the warm up all we need is a ball and we also need one item. I've got a bib, but if you don't have a bib you can use anything like a t-shirt or even a pair of socks. So once you've got your item and once you've got your ball, we're ready to start. So to start off this warm up, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put your object in your hand, start within your area of space, and all you're going to start doing is throwing your object around, try and get some height to it so you have enough time to react to begin with, and you're just basically going to try and catch it and avoid it from dropping on the floor, okay? Really important that you try and challenge yourself, so moving in different directions and not just going forwards and backwards all the time, okay? So as we go, change my direction, as I can catch it, I'm moving around, okay, might use my right hand as well. Quite good on goalkeepers as well almost, okay, so you're reacting to where the movement of the object is going. That way, that way. Time to make sure I react a little bit quicker if it's a bit further away from you, or if there's more of a risk of it dropping onto the ground. Just try to be as creative as possible. If you have somebody else with you, what they may do is they may throw the object towards you so that you can then catch it. Say for example someone was with me, they throw it, can I react and can I try and catch it before it drops onto the ground? Okay? Keep going for a little longer. Last few. And relax there. So, real key important thing there is just making sure we're getting lots of movement in, getting lots of repetition of changing our direction, turning our body, and reacting at different times at different speeds, so go quicker, and then also slowing the body down to change our direction to move into a new position as well, okay? So, a few things there. I'd advise everyone to start off at that level. However, if you do want a bit more of a challenge, like I said halfway through, maybe get somebody else to throw it in with you. So say for example, they throw it in, you're then having to react and catch where it's going to go. So you don't actually know where it's going to be moving to, okay? So it's going to create more natural and realistic reactions for you, alright? Now, the second thing as well, is you can have more than one item. So it could be I have one item going on over here, and then I have another one which I have to go and catch as well, alright? That would be 2 very good ways if you have somebody else with you to be able to enhance and challenge yourself within this first warm-up. Now, the next thing which I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to get a ball, okay? And basically it's the same game. All you have to try and do this time is take the ball with you as you're moving and as you're trying to create and catch the object which you're throwing around, okay? So I'm travelling around my ball, throw it, and take my ball with me. Okay, don't leave the ball behind. As you may notice, what I'm doing is to make it a little bit easier for myself and to make sure I really gain control of that football. Obviously I'm only using one foot, I'm using my more comfortable foot to begin with, okay, because there's 2 things going on here, so it's quite a psychologically demanding exercise. But I'm using one foot, a more comfortable one, but I'm also stopping the ball as I collect the bib. So as an example, moving around, right, and watch, I stop the ball. Okay, show you again, so I'm moving around, and I stop the ball as well, okay? Just so I get the ball under control, and then I can think about where I'm going to throw the bib to next, okay? So just take it around with us, so you can get comfortable, stop the ball. But wherever you go, the ball has to come with you, and wherever the bib goes, you're reacting to move to, you have to take the ball with you as well, alright? A couple more of these. Remember to use both hands if you can. Superb. So, key things there, again, you're getting lots of changes of direction in there, turning quite often, also reacting, changing your speed if you need to go and catch the bib, the object that you have with you. And another key thing as well, which I mentioned, taking that ball with you, okay? I'm using the inside of my feet, I'm using the outside of my feet, okay? Inside, outside. And most importantly, the other day in our sessions, I'm using the sole of the ball to stop it and help gain control, all right? Now, moving on to the final challenge of this warm-up, for those more advanced players and also a steady progression as you're making your way through this warm-up. Next key thing is, number one, can you start using both of your feet? Okay, so using both of your feet to help move the ball around. Remember, we're going to become comfortable and confident using both. And as you're doing that as well, okay, you're trying to see if you can keep the ball moving throughout the whole time when you catch the bit. So you're not stopping this time, you're not seeing moving around. Okay? Changing different directions of the ball, changing directions of myself. I want to keep that ball moving around. Okay, so when I'm putting my sole on the ball, I'm actually changing the direction which I'm trying to set me up for my next movement. Remember, use the inside and outside to direct, go into a space. Using both of our feet. Even add a little bit of still if you want to warm up. I want to get nice and warm and get our feet and our body, and importantly this one, our mind, ready for today's activities. And so on. Now, again, if you want to challenge yourself even further, my advice would be going back to that first part of the warm-up which we spoke about, where you have assistance from somebody else. They can possibly chuck in another object, so you have two objects which you need to try and react to. The key thing in that part, the end part of that, is taking the ball with you. Okay? Because it's a warm-up, as you can see here and see even, I'm ready to go through the activity. I'm nice and warmed up, okay? And it means that we can get going with our activity. So, give it a go, try and add as many different objects to catch as possible if you want to really try and challenge yourself. The key things, changing direction, changing speed, and taking the ball with us when we make those movements. Give it a try. Right, so that was our warm-up. So in our warm-up, we was focusing on trying to change our direction, trying to change our speed, really working on those fundamental movements that you'll find yourself having to use within a game, okay? As well, there's a few different challenges in there, so make it appropriate to you as you're going through the session. And obviously, if you feel you need to go back as well, that's absolutely fine too. But the key parts there was basically taking the ball with you wherever you're moving and wherever you're having to react to moves to, okay? So now we're going to move into the next exercise, which is the ball mastery exercise. And for this, you're going to need 4 objects. Again, I'm going to use cones. If you don't have access to cones, you can get anything such as jumpers, toilet rolls, jackets, trainers, anything that you may have access to. And these 4 objects are going to help you to create a box. You also are going to need your ball still. So once you've got your 4 objects and your ball, then we're ready to go. Right, so for this ball mastery exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to lay out the 4 objects just like this, so it's creating a box. And you're going to start just on the outside of the box, or any side you want to. I'm going to start over on this side. And what we're going to do is simply travel through the box, stop, and then go back through again, okay? So stop, 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 again, stop, 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 and so on, okay? So just going in and out of the box. You can use different parts of your feet. You can use just your left, just your right, or a combination of the two. Obviously I'd advise the latter, but whatever you're comfortable with, just to get going with this session. This time I'm going to go the opposite direction, so I'm going to start over here. Stop. 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 So a couple more of these repetitions. Last few. Okay, and freeze there. So, key thing with that is nothing too strenuous to begin with. We're just exploring going in and out of this box. We're trying to figure out how big the box actually is. And again, we're just exploring and practicing that repetition of using different parts of our feet to help us move the ball from one area to a different area. This time what's going to happen is you're going to add a bit of a change of direction, okay? So similar to the last session we just done, the warm up, okay? You're changing your direction. So think about what we spoke around in terms of when you change direction, you're taking the ball with you, and also as well, you're changing the movement of your body, okay, to face the new direction in which you're headed. So we'll have a couple of these. Going from this side this time. This side. Still stopping the ball once we get outside. Okay, so as you can notice, again I'm using different parts of my feet to help me move the ball into different directions. Again, I'm taking the ball with me, but as we spoke about in previous sessions, it's really important to use either the inside or the outside to just help you direct the ball into a new space. Okay, so say for example, I'm travelling in this direction, I use the outside just to push that ball to the left slightly. Okay, moving in and in and in, outside to push it out into the space. Using the inside of my feet, okay, again, just to push that ball and direct it into the area of space in which I want to go towards. But remember, the ball is staying with me on my journey. Okay, I always talk about before, during and after a move. Okay, so before one is I'm outside the box, I have the ball with me. During the movement, I'll be going into the box, I have it with me. And then afterwards, I also have it with me, okay? So any skill or any movement you're doing in a game, it's really important that you have the ball with you in those three different stages. Alright, so we've gone in and out of the box, going in a sort of a straight line, going in and out opposite sides. And then we just started to experience going out to our left and our right, okay? This time we're going to try and increase the challenge a little bit, so we're not going to stop the ball when we go outside, we're just going to keep on constantly moving. Now this might include two different movements. It might include a movement where I go through, I'm rolling the ball to get back, okay, or it may also involve a movement where I'm not actually touching the ball at all, so I'm travelling through, and I'm just letting the ball roll. I'm not kicking it too hard, so it shows I've got it under control. I'm just letting the ball roll, and I'm changing my movement and my body position to help face a new direction in which I want to try and go. Okay, so we'll do it for about 30 seconds to a minute. And again, lots of repetition. So if you can keep the ball moving, the inside, outside, and some of our foot as well. Keeping the ball constantly moving, but the key thing is that I'm constantly as well changing my direction too, okay? To face the new direction of which I want to travel to, so wherever that space is going to be. Now, again, be as creative as you want with the type of movements that you're using. using different parts of the feet. If you're quite a skillful player, this might be a good opportunity to practice some skills. So it's like you're approaching a defender, as you approach the defender, you might use a little chop, you might use a little turn as well, so turn in on the ball. Okay, I might use a little step over possibly, so as I'm going into the area, step over, and then moving in a different direction. So it's your opportunity to be as creative as you want, okay? Skills, step over, quick movement. Remember, ball needs to be with you before, during and after. One final thing just to try and practice on, okay? Or another variation of what we can do. So, if again you have somebody with you, number one, they can maybe shout out the direction you go. So you could be travelling into the box, someone shouts out left, I have to react quickly and get out to my left, okay? Going into the box again, someone shouts out right, and I react quickly and get out to my right. So that's if you have somebody else with you. Alternative variations to create different types of movements, that close control. You could possibly go from diagonal, so you might go in, out, and round the corner of this box. That's why I like boxes, because you can create various different outcomes. Or, alternatively, keep a nice close control and go around the outside of the area. Okay, just a few different things you can try out there. Each of them will demand different types of outcomes, different techniques to use when moving the ball, and will create different reactions on how close you control the ball and what type of movements you decide to make. Okay, so give that one a go. A few different changes of levels there. Really important in this one. We'll change that direction, we're reacting, and the movements are quick. Okay, playing the ball before, during, and after. Excellent. Right, so that was our ball mastery exercise. Now for our ball mastery exercise, some of the key points we took away from that is again very similar to the warm-up. We're changing our direction, we're changing our speed, but we're really focusing on the ball movement element of that, okay? So using our different parts of our feet, our insides, our outsides of the feet, and also our soles of the feet. Again, as I've mentioned in previous sessions, it's really important to develop it both on your left and your right foot so that you can react in different ways and change directions quickly and appropriately, just like you might need to in a game as well, okay? So now we're going to move on to our keeper reaction exercise, and what you're going to need for that is a ball and a flat surface. So what you might use is potentially a wall. I'll probably say that would be the best bet whether you're indoors or outdoors, or if you're indoors as well, you could potentially use a door as well, but you're just going to need a flat surface, a space, and a ball. Once you've got access and once you've got your space and your flat surface, get ready and we're going to get going. Right, so for this goalkeeper reaction exercise, remember you need a space, you need a flat surface, so I'm using a wall, and you also need your ball. And what you're going to simply try and do is you're going to be throwing the ball against the wall, and then you're going to try and catch it again, okay? I'm going to use a technique which is called the W technique, so let's look at that. So I'm stopping the ball from going through my hand, and obviously avoiding the ball hitting me in my face, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to throw it against the wall, catch it again, and you're going to move at the same time. Basically moving left to right, right to left. It's loads of techniques of throwing and catching the ball there. Last two. Like I said, I'm using that W technique to try and catch the ball and stop it from hitting me in my face, but as well, I'm generating power when throwing the ball, okay, using my arms, alright? So I'm constantly keeping my feet on the move, okay, and I'm keeping my feet shoulder width apart. Okay, the important reason why I'm going to do that is we don't want to cross over our feet as we're making the movement, okay? So just think like you're in goal, okay, and you want to move from maybe the left post to the right post, to the right post to the left post, and you want to quickly get over to there, react quickly to that movement of where the ball's going, then you don't want to trip over your own feet, okay? So you need to make sure you keep yourself balanced and you keep yourself ready to react and widen your post, okay? As I'm moving across. Another key important thing to think about with this exercise is how far away are you from the wall, okay, or from the surface? Because I need to make sure that I'm going to be able to react and catch the ball, okay? Because if I don't put enough power into it, I'm going to need to go closer and react. If I put too much power into it, I might have to possibly move back and react as well. So think about how much power you put into it, and think about the technique really of the catch, okay? So it is about reaction. It's a bit too hard, I'm going to move backwards, okay? If it's a bit too short, I'm going to move forwards. Ultimately, you just want to get into a nice routine of practicing that technique and focusing on some real repetition. Like so. Now, once you've done that, okay, my advice would be to start off with that because it's easier to catch it with two hands. We're not necessarily going to catch it with one hand, but what we are going to do is we're just going to hit the ball back against the wall. So it's going to be a bit of a reaction. So watch this. You can either do this in one set position if you want to start off with it a little bit easier, something like this. Or if you want to, again, you can make movements from left to right. So I might start over here, and then go across. Oh, start again. Try and get into the habit of using both your left and your right hand as well. Okay, if you need to react to them, sometimes you may have noticed me there, I have to use my left hand twice or my right hand twice just to be able to react and actually return the ball. So think of it almost like a bit of a game of tennis. Okay, you want to return the ball back against the wall. So, a few different techniques there. But with all these different techniques, we'll be doing it with two hands. The W catching technique, where we're using it with one hand, and we're using that palm of our hand to return the ball, okay? Almost like a bit of a game of pat ball you might play in the playground. The key thing is this, we want to make sure that we're focusing on repetition, and we also want to make sure that we're focusing on our footwork. So we're constantly moving, and the key word here is reacting. Okay, so if the ball goes over to that side, I'm there to react. Okay? If it goes too far, I'm there to react back as well. A good way of trying to develop and challenge yourself with this one is if you do have somebody else there with you, what they may be able to do is they may be able to throw it in for you. So say for example, I'm ready in my position, in my stance, someone throws it in, can I react and can I go and catch it? Okay? That would be a good way to practice the real reactions because the ball's going to come from behind you, you don't know where it's going to go, you don't know how much power is being put into it. Can I try and react and catch it before it drops onto the ground? Alright? So, give those ones a go, see how you get on, make the challenge appropriate for you. Remember, the key things here are developing that opportunity of repetition and being able to make decisions and problem solving on your movements based on the reaction of where the ball's going to, okay? Excellent. Give it a go. Cool, so that was our keeper reaction exercise. Now some of the key points to take away from that is that we wanted to get lots of repetition and touches on the ball, but a little bit different this time. Rather than with the feet, we're using our hands. At times you may use one hand and that's just to try and react and hit the ball back against the wall. On other occasions you may catch the ball and that's just to try and keep it within your possession, okay? And we're really focusing on that technique of catching the ball. Another key thing to be aware of, because it was a reaction exercise, that you have to make the movement based on where the ball is going to, okay? That's one of the key things about keepers, and one of the good things about this exercise as well, is just like a keeper, you have to problem solve and make decisions based on are you going to just hit the ball or save it, or are you going to try and catch it and keep possession for your team, okay? So that was the goalkeeper reaction exercise. Now we're moving on to the final challenge, which is an accuracy session. For this one, it will help to enhance our passing and also our shooting abilities. What you need for this is you're going to need some objects. I've got some toilet rolls. You're probably going to need about 4 or 5 of these to create a tower. You're also going to need your ball. So once you've got your objects and once you've got your ball, we're ready to go. Right, so for this accuracy session, what you're going to do is you're going to start off by setting up a tower like so. Okay, I use toilet rolls, you can potentially use cans if you have them, or anything that basically stack on top of each other. Okay, I'm going to start off by showing you the session for the younger age groups, okay, maybe those who have the lesser ability, but then also progress it on to the ones who want more of a challenge and of that higher ability or more experience within the game, okay? So, what we're going to do is the aim is this. You're going to start with all your hands, you're going to throw it underarm, and you basically want to try and see how many attempts it's going to take to knock down all of these toilet rolls, okay, to knock down your towel. Alright? If, say for example, you do knock it all down and just set it back up, then you can start again and try and see if you can get it in fewer amounts. Alright? So, start with your hands, throw it down. Ah, yes, excellent. Okay, I'm going to try to find one now. Yes, one more to knock down. One more, grab the ball, quick reaction, try and get it. Oh, it's knocked back up. I think I'm going to struggle with this one. Back again. Yes, there we go. Okay, so about 3 or 4 attempts for me there. What you need to do now is set it back up. Again, just like with our feet, my advice would be to you to try and see if you can use both hands, so using left and right hands to see if you can throw the ball underarm. This is also quite a good one to follow on with from that goalkeeper session, okay, the keeper reactions one, where actually these are techniques that goalkeepers may use. So they put the ball in their hands, they catch the ball, and now they're rolling it out to distribute it. Alright, so with my hands, see if I can beat my score from last time, so we can just do about 3 or 4. Yes, get down there. Yes, got one more to do afterwards. One more to knock down, so all of them must be flat on the ground, okay? Yes. Super. Right, set it back up. Now with this one, it might look like I'm very good at it, okay, or it's very easy. But believe me, it's not, okay? The key thing is you have to knock all of them down. Now, obviously, I've got quite a small space that I'm working within. Obviously, it depends on the type of space that you have available to you, whether you're indoors or outdoors, okay? But if you need a harder challenge, create further distance between you. That's one thing to possibly try and do. Another thing that you might try and do is either add more or less objects to your towel, okay? It's totally up to you. So, once you've done those ones where you're rolling it, okay, you can try different things out. So again, if you're of that younger age group or you're at a lower ability, you might try things such as bounces. So I might try bounces this time. None that time at all, okay? A little bit harder, different type of turn. Or very lucky that way. We try to get a final one or final 2 down. Yes, there we go, super. So different type of reaction which I'm having to get out of myself, okay? I'm trying to do a different technique. So, have one more like that. Again, you can try and bounce. So you've got to be careful, if that bounce is too high, it's going to go straight over. Yes, it'll go up. Most of them stay up. 2 more to go, 2 more to go, okay, then 2 down. Yes, 1 down. 1 more to go. Oh, it's back over. Oh, it's back over again. I'm going to struggle with this one. Oh no! A few more goes. I don't know if I'm going to get this final one. Well, I keep missing it. Ah, there we go. Super. Right, so now that they're all down, we're going to our final part of this exercise. We're basically going to start using our feet. Okay, we're going to use 2 different techniques to try and kick the ball and try and knock these down. Right, so there's 2 different ways in which you can do this, okay? So the first way is using the inside of your feet. So again, we're now increasing the challenge level here, okay? Using the inside of my feet, can I try and do a bit of a passing technique? Alright, so I'm going to try and see as well, similar to what we've done in the last session, session 2, okay? I'm trying to see if I can get the ball up in the air slightly. So think back to that session and some of those techniques that we looked at there to get the ball up and over, okay? So we need to get the ball up this time, hopefully not over, so I'm not going to knock any down. So, using on my foot. Ah, brilliant. Oh, 1 more to go there. Oh, I've done it there. Oh, no, back up. Oh, I've got 1 more to breaking any items at home. So, popping back up, so that's using the inside of the foot. Again, you can use the left or the right, depending on which one you start off with. As I always say, it's really, really important to practice on both of those feet, okay, so we're becoming comfortable and confident doing so. And the final way of doing this is using the front area of our foot, so that laces type area. Again, we're using just below, we're really getting our foot under the ball, okay, so we're getting some, we're hopefully looking to try and lift our foot up in the air and get that ball up into the air as well, okay. So, we go, pass on straight, we've got too much over. Yes, two down there. Good way, so if the ball does come back to you, if you're in quite a small room, good way to start practicing your control as well. Yes! There we go, super. Right, I'll set it back up, but I'm just going to briefly explain, won't show you necessarily, but I'll just explain why you can do it. If you want to, you can really try and challenge yourself on the accuracy part of it by seeing if you can knock the items down one at a time, okay? So it might be that first of all, try to do the top one. I'm too many, so I need to set it back up, okay? All I'm aiming to try and do, again, this is if you're more of that advanced level, is I'm just trying to see if I can knock, oh, not all of them down, try and see if I can knock the top one down, only, okay? Then I'll go to the next one, then the next one, the next one, and then final, okay? But obviously not like that, that'd be too easy. We're going to do it with our feet. So there's a few different challenges which you can try out. Like I said, that final one's really advanced, but a good way to really practice your accuracy, your weight of your pass, your weight of your shot, and the type of technique you need to include within trying to get some success within this, alright? So, give it a try, a few different variations of challenges there. Quite a fun one, and quite accessible as well, because things such as toilet rolls, obviously everyone will have, and like I said, it's quite a fun way of knocking down the tower. Who doesn't like to knock things down, right? So, give it a try, and see how you get on with that one. Excellent. Right, so that's the end of session 3, so just a quick recap on today's session. So we looked at a whole host of different areas within the game. We focused quite heavily on our techniques of moving the ball, using the insides and outsides of our foot, and also the sole of the foot, as always using our left and our right. We also looked at some of the ways to enhance and develop our passing or our shooting using different areas of the foot as well. And we also looked at using the palm of the hand and that catching technique if we're a goalkeeper as well, based on the reactions and the movement of the ball too. Just make sure as well that we get lots of repetition within these exercises. As always, I always say to try and do 3 to 4 repetitions and short, sharp bursts of 30 seconds to a minute on each exercise. I hope you've liked today's video. Make sure as always you subscribe, make sure you comment, like and interact with the video as well. Give us your feedback, let us know how you get on, and as always let us know some of the sessions which you want to see coming up and we'll try and make sure we get them in. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you at the next session.